We're live.
Right.
We're back again. And we've got another special guest today. It is Lee Allinson, manager of Hendon Town, was it, Lee?
Hendon Football Club, yeah.
Hendon Football Club. Is it busy for you right now? Are you trying to get some transfers over the line? I know it's different.
We don't stop our transfers. We go through the season and we stop at sort of the last 2 months. But actually, funny enough, I've lost my goalkeeper, my skipper, and my little forward. So yeah, I'm trying to get through over the line for tomorrow night's game. Actually,
for Saturday, so it's still hectic for you. Well, we were just speaking to Joe Luque just about 10 minutes ago. So I know he's looking for a club. So if you're looking for a middleman to set up some deals, mate, I mean, you're in the right place.
I'd say I could do with anyone at the moment. And I can't get a deal done anywhere. So
he's sitting in his car waiting for the phone call for a club to
it's
phone
mental. Have you had to deal with any of the issues with regards to COVID and players coming in? What's the ramifications there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's tough all round at the moment. I think it's probably harder for our clubs because we haven't financially got the money to be able to do testing and stuff like that. So we have to just go on players that if they have any symptoms or anything like that they come and are honest with us, and we have to leave them at home for 2 weeks. But other than that, that's all we can really do. They check themselves into the ground on the test and trace, and that's the best we can do and offer. It's a lot easier for the pro clubs and the conference and conference south clubs because they'll have more money than what we have.
Mm-hmm. So what with regards to fans coming into the stadiums? I know there's a lot of restrictions right now. How badly is that going to implicate you for the forthcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can have crowds in up to 600 at the moment. What was difficult for us on Saturdays, we played Maidstone, who are Conference South.
Yeah.
We'd sold 400 tickets on the Monday to find out on the Tuesday that Maidstone fans wasn't allowed to attend the game. So we had to hand back 200 tickets, ended up losing out on the gate. And we had probably 15, 20 Maidstone fans outside the ground, and it got a little bit heated at times because they wanted to be let in and we weren't allowed to let them in. And, it was really tough and our stewards dealt with it brilliantly. But, the FA there have probably caused a situation where we could have had a lot of crowd trouble, which there was no need for, because
just communication.
Because they're not Conference South, does that mean they've got the virus and Step 3 haven't? So they should have been allowed in. And, we end up losing the game 1-0. Very unlucky, should I say. But we lose on prize money. We lose out on the gate then. So whereas normally you'd have probably 600 to 800 there against Maidstone, we end up losing out. And, it's a tough draw for us, especially second round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's where you're going to get your a bit of the extra money in it for the FA Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you still got the VARs that you put potentially in? You could play in that.
No, so we're in the FA Trophy. But again, it's like anything, if you're not allowed crowds in, which is looking likely for the next 3 months with Conference South and conference sides. Again, we're at the same old. We'll have the first round against our own level, and then if we draw again a Maidstone, a Chelmsford, or a Dartford, we're only going to have either no crowd at their place or only home fans only at our place. So again, over the course of the season, all clubs, I'm sure, grassroots and anywhere else are going to be at a loss this year.
Yeah. So do you think not having fans there as in the atmosphere wise is going to play a big part for you guys? Because they're so close knit, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. As I say, I mean, we're fortunate that because we don't fall under the bracket of elite sport, that we're allowed fans. We're only allowed a certain amount, which, at Hendon, we probably only average 300 anyway. So, it's not too bad for us. But obviously, with my dad being at St Albans, I know the ramifications on their football club is massive, to struggle to pay their players. They haven't got any atmosphere at the ground. It was hard for Maidstone. I know that for a fact, that they were saying it's so tough not to have your own ground, your crowd cheering you on. So it is tough. It's tough for everyone at the moment. But at the same time, I look at it, and 3 months ago, we were all stuck indoors and struggling and couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So, I just hope for football's sake and mental state of players and staff and managers and supporters and people that just enjoy going to football, that we can keep socially distanced and able to not have another lockdown so we can carry on playing.
Yeah, I think what it is although fans really want to be in the stadium, for me, I think the most important thing is that we can carry on watching football at least, whether it might be from afar, but just the lift it gave just me, my friends, people around, when you saw football on TV, even though it was Bundesliga, and I never used to really watch Bundesliga. It was the lift. It brought joy to the house. Well, just me, but it brought joy. It's good. It was the lift, and it's uplifting. So to take that football away again, I think it would be a massive sour point.
Yeah, again, I think we go back to financially. I think we'll be okay now with the Premier League. That I think we'll always have football. I think that they'll just do testing. I think that the lower you go, and this is what I don't understand. I mean, I can't see how from the Premier League down to the conference you can't have crowds. You know, if anyone's better to socially distance in a big ground, it's the Premier League. You can easily get 10,000 in a 60,000 seat stadium and socially distanced and, you know, leave the grounds at certain times. It can work, you know, and I don't understand it. I can't see why it's not happening. Yet at step 3 and below at our level, honestly, you go to some grounds and, you know, you don't see people socially distanced. They just want to watch football matches and it's tough, you know, and this is the problem, though. It's a catch-22 and, you know, I don't want to lose. Listen, if we lose crowds at Hendon, that's our season done. We won't afford to be able to carry on. So that's the problem. So we need the crowds and we need them to carry on.
I was just about to ask you, Lee.
Sorry, I was going to say.
No, sorry. I was just going to ask Lee. Are you seeing a lot of that around you? Because that's the thing. Like, I mean, I love non-league football, lower league football, but are you seeing clubs closely going to the wall, or has already some gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get to. I actually thought the money at our level this year would be a lot less, but no, it isn't. I think teams are going for it. How long that will last, I don't know. I think that it's you talk to a lot of managers, and you know, while the crowds are coming in, I think teams are okay. I think more so that the Conference South and Conference clubs will struggle more than Step 3 because we're actually probably getting more crowd at the moment than we would do if all the local teams were able to have crowds like your Brentfords and your Football League clubs. So in a way, we're quite fortunate that our gates are up on last year. But at the same time, you know, the bigger clubs, I think they're the ones that are going to get hit the most. And, you know, we'll go along and we'll be fine as a football club.
No, good.
You know, where it's tough is paying for your coach travel because you can't have supporters on your coaches no more because if you've got a 52-seater, you're only allowed 25 people on the coach. You're spending £700-800 to go on a coach journey. So they're tough times. So, you know, they're where it's going to be tough and hit the club hard. But, you know, we've lost Merthyr Tydfil this year. You know, they've had to pull out the league on the last minute because they're not allowed crowds in. So it's hit them hard, and whether they'll come back or not, I don't know. But again, I think it's one day at a time at the moment. I think everyone's just happy that we're back playing football, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that this R rate stops going up and we can continue.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say before. Obviously, Steve made his point, and with COVID, this is why I have huge respect for stewards at football grounds now, not just like at Arsenal, but like at Rotherham, like at Leyton Orient and stuff like that, because people keep saying, oh, just split them up and put them in. Yeah, but it's not as easy as that. You've got to let them in one by one. They've got to be in the stadium for a certain amount of time. It's like, and then when the game's finished, they've got to all leave. But if they've got to stay away from each other, then they have to leave the stadium one by one. So then they're not concussed with each other, which could cause the spread, basically. So that's why massive respect for me goes to the stewards at football grounds, because everyone thinks that their job is like, oh, it's only a steward. Go do it then. My mate's a steward at Sheffield Wednesday, and he says you can't do social distancing in the stadium at the minute because fans don't listen to any of us. They don't listen. Some will listen, but some won't. And if they want to get out, they'll just storm, or they'll start an argument basically to get out of Hillsborough. So I got that idea from him, and he says, I don't see fans coming into stadium at all this season. Probably the last 3 games of the season, they might try it.
I think that's the worry. Is with all the fines that they talk about, with all the restrictions, it's our club's going to get fined when they're trying their best because fans aren't listening. So, what is it best to just leave the fans out at the moment until the R rate is completely down? I mean, it's just about being cautious right now.
This is the problem. I think that as well. We've seen that at Hendon and all the local clubs with us, because people want to go to games. They're not bothered about the social distance. They just want to get to a football match. And this is why I think that the higher clubs are actually probably more equipped to be able to do it than the lower clubs. But then you get the catch-22 that if we don't get crowds in, we don't play football matches. It's as simple as that. The minute they stop the crowds, if the R rate continues, they stop the crowds. That's season done for our football club. It's done.
Do you think it's potentially this would be a good time for like the clubs at the upper echelons to start filtering down some of that money to the lower leagues? And even if it's not, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money, it could be something like loaning the player without a fee or paying their wages as well, just to sort of help these local clubs or clubs around them.
Absolutely, I think you're spot on, and I think. The problem is, I think the only clubs here that are really going to be okay, your Premiership and your top-end championships, I really believe that from there, everyone downwards without crowds are going to struggle. I live in Stevenage. I'm a Stevenage boy. I live just outside Stevenage, and I work for Stevenage Football Club. And I know how hard it is for them at the moment. You know, it's so tough when you're used to getting 2,000-3,000 people every single week to having no supporters. Where's the income coming from? You know, you still got to pay your players, you still got your outland, your stadium, your staff, your management team, your people behind the scenes. So it's so tough at the moment. So although, I think it's great that they can help with loans. Unless you're the Premier League club, I don't know how they can, because they need to claw back some money themselves. So unless the Premier League are going to start helping fund a lot of the clubs around and supporting, because as I say, I'll always think that step 3 below will be okay. While we get crowds in, we'll have money to survive. I think we will lose teams out of League 1, League 2, Conference South and North unless they get crowds very, very quickly.
Then that's the problem, because that's the pyramid. It's how you're losing your foundation. So even if you were to then move them clubs up, are they going to be able to cope with not having the fans there? Are they going to be able to cope with the standard of football and not being able to get in the right players themselves that they'll be able to pay? It's a tough one.
No, it is. It is tough. It's really tough.
That's why I thought FFP being restricted for 2 years. I thought what they would do is teams would just go mental like they're doing. Chelsea have spent 250 plus million in this window. Then you look at Manchester United and what they've done. You look at other teams and what they've done. I thought when they restricted FFP for 2 years, they were going to use some of that money to kind of filter in towards the lower teams to try and help out, if you get what I mean. Because to be honest, in all fairness, if you're turning around as a football fan, right, and you're saying, no, why should we help them? It's not our problem. Well, you're clearly not a football fan then, because football without other teams isn't football.
Yeah, it's this community thing that seems to be forgotten. What team do you support personally, Lee?
So so my whole family, wife, daughter, kids, mum, dad are all Arsenal, and unfortunately for me at the moment, I'm a Man United fan.
What happened there? How'd that happen?
That's like me and my brother, isn't it?
I really don't know. So when obviously,
how are you feeling about the window then, Lee? How are you feeling about the window?
I think they've got big problems. I think Man United have got big problems. I don't think it's just on the pitch. I think that Man United have always been renowned for being the biggest club in the world, and I don't think they've got the biggest manager in the world, personally. I think they need a manager that has got a aura about him. I think if you look at Solskjaer yesterday, he looked completely lost compared to Klopp on the sideline. Now, obviously, I know that Klopp has just won the league, but there was 2 different animals on that side of the pitch. I think Woodward is a problem. He can't get a player over the line. And we overspend, and we spend money on very average players. You know, I think that they need a centre-half, they need a left-back, they need a right-back, they need a centre midfielder with some steel, and they need an outstanding centre-forward. And Man United have always been renowned for having the best centre-forwards. They haven't got a centre-forward, in my opinion, at the moment. You know, if they're going to spend 100 million on Sancho, I heard it said yesterday, and it's easy to say, but you know, the 100 million's got to go on someone like Harry Kane because that's the difference.
Yeah. How do you feel, Lee, about the signings you bought?
Say that again.
How do you feel about those the signings that you've got so far this season? Van der Beek, Telos looks like he's signed.
Yeah, I like
Cavani.
Van der Beek. I think he's a very good player, but he doesn't seem to fit the profile of Solskjaer. I can't work it out. It looks like it's not Solskjaer's signing. They brought him in and he sits on the bench. So you watched him the other day. He looked like a very good player. My fear is he another kind of Henrik Mkhitaryan type player where he sort of just drifts in and out of games, but. You know, he's very similar to Fernandes and he likes to play behind the front player. But I can't see where they're going with the side. I think you can see the weaknesses in the side. You can see it from miles away. So, unfortunately, if they don't go and buy some, I think they need a little bit of experience as well, you know. But for me, it comes from the manager. And listen, it's easy to say, but Pochettino, someone like that, they have to go and get him. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's done all right. He steadied the ship, but for Man United to kick back on again, they need to go and get that star manager.
What do you feel they need, Lee? What do you feel they need? What do you feel they need? As in
manager or player-wise?
Or both.
I think you've seen. I think they need. I was listening to the radio today, and I thought they made a great point that the technical director now who brings in players is a really good shout. For me, I think the only one out there at the moment is Pochettino. I think that he's got a great way of playing. You look at the players that he had at his disposal at Spurs, he got the best out of them. And I think that they need I question Maguire. I question his pace. I look at him and, you know, the one thing he's a good leader. I think he's had a torrid time off the pitch. And there's no coincidence now that he's not playing well. The left back, Shaw, yesterday, I mean, for me, I'd have dragged him off the pitch by a scruff of his neck with a tackle he'd done on Tottenham yesterday. I thought it was a disgrace. Sent off. Totally out of position. Cost them the third goal or the fourth goal when Son scored. So for me, they're a long way off. You know, they're a really long way off. And if one or two of their players don't tick, then they struggle. And that's a big problem for me. I think there's no strength in depth. Van der Beek, I think, is a very good signing. And I think they need to go and get one or two more in. I don't even think Sancho's the answer. I've got to be honest. I think he's too similar to what they've already got. I think they need an out-and-out centre forward.
Well,
are you more Are you more towards the Glazers out or Ed Woodward out then?
Do you know what? I don't go into that, and the reason being is the Glazers are giving the club money to spend. So I can't, I can't understand why it's always Glazers out. They've not stopped spending money. So we're not in an Arsenal scenario here or a Tottenham one where they can't spend any money. Man United are spending money. For me, I think Woodward's the problem. I think he's a big problem. I think he doesn't want a manager that over. I see yesterday that they were talking about Mourinho. He took the board on, and he don't like that. I think Solskjaer's a little bit of a yes man, and he's he'll have Ferguson talking to him, I'm sure. So for me, I think they've got to go and get a high-profile manager and someone who can bring in players. And for me, Woodward would have to go.
I think
sorry, I keep cutting in, Kieran. Sorry. Where you said then with Arsenal, obviously, and Tottenham, where they're not spent like basically they can't spend money. But then it's been proven we spent more money than Liverpool with their team. It's just been bad recruitment. You look at Tottenham now. I'm not saying they have bad recruitment under Pochettino, but what they're doing now with Mourinho, they're backing him. They're giving him his players that he wants. And you're seeing it on the pitch as well. Same as us. Arteta is getting the players, well, at the minute, what he wants. And he's doing stuff already with bang average players to begin with. So,
exactly.
I get what you mean.
He's getting the best out of his side, exactly. I totally agree. And that's what I don't
I don't like newspapers and reporters because they always filter in that this team has no money. This team has no money. United need to spend more. You don't need to spend more at all. I said it earlier today. The problem with Man United is your manager. Once your manager, because the team that you have, you should be top at league. 4 wins in a row at least.
Yeah,
I think we were speaking to Nathan Ellerton, and he's also a Man United fan. And he said what you're lacking is balance, and it's for me it's quite evident. Even just up top, you've got what would they would class themselves as free strikers in up front and winger positions, and not an out-and-out winger out of all of them. You've got centre backs being brought in by different managers, and at one point none of them agreed with who they wanted. Mourinho wanted Maguire in. He got in Bally. Once he had Bally in, didn't fancy him. Same happened with Lindelof, injuries and whatnot. And it's just so disjointed. Even with regards to bringing in Van der Beek, for me, it kind of baffled me. He's a great midfielder. Is it what you needed? And that just seems to be the problem there. And that, for me, it comes from Ed Woodward. The like you said, the deal's getting over the line. You're paying top end. It's like you're rolling in there because you're Man United and people know you're going to pay that money. Well, that shouldn't be the case. You should be able to bargain with people. And yeah, it needs someone at the top, because all the best clubs at the moment right now have got someone up there helping the manager.
Yeah, totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like he needs a number 2, Lee? Ole, do you think that's part of the problem? Yeah, Nathan, we speak to Nathan earlier. He was saying that the problem could be because Ollie, like you said, it could be too much of a yes man. Needs a bit of steel.
I just go on. I go on previous that Solskjaer done, and he's never really been successful as a manager. Obviously, I think Norway was last managing. He's done okay. Obviously, he's at one of the top clubs, but I think you put anyone of his caliber in, will always get results because it's Man United and they've got some of the best players in the world. But to go to that extra yard, that extra mile, that extra trophy, the Champions League, they need a top class manager who knows top class recruitment. Who, for me, if you offered me a chance now to go and play for Jurgen Klopp or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm going to play for Jurgen Klopp. That's the difference. You know, it's not a big name. You'd always want to go and play for Sir Alex Ferguson. That was the big one. You know, Man United have lost that now, and for me now, players come to Man United because of money, and they need to get away from that. Listen, I think the boy Fernandes is unbelievable.
Great signing.
He could be one of the best players in the world. But we've got to go and get more, and we need more. And for me, it starts at the top. It starts with Woodward. It starts with the manager. If they get that right, I think they'll end up being a very, very good side again.
Yeah, because Cavani's on 290k a week or something like that. He was a free agent, so it's crazy, isn't it?
That's crazy money, isn't it? You know, listen, he'll score goals. You know, it could be the Falcao effect again. You know, he's got no legs, and Man United need legs in their side. And as I say, I think there's better out there. I think the problem is the two at the top, Woodward and Solskjaer, and I'll stay by that. And you know, they'll get the results, and you know, you could put anyone in there as manager, and they'll get some results. And no doubt, they've got some great flair about them. But to really kick on again, they need to go and get a top class manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. With Man United, have always had that focal point, whether it's even more recently Van Persie, before that Van Nistelrooy, the names Rooney, the names go on. Rashford is a top class player and can be a world class player, but he's not that guy as the main centre forward. He could be an excellent partnership with him and someone else, but like if you had Harry Kane and Rashford as your strike force, you could take over, but it just needs that. I think your focus was, like you said, was put in the wrong place with Sancho.
You look at when Ferguson was there, and he went and got Tevez. You know, went and got Van Nistelrooy. He went and got Rooney. He went and got all these top Van Persie when everyone thought that was, you know, weren't sure. He's always got his vocal point. He had two very good centre halves. It was Bruce and Pallister, and it was Ferdinand and Vidic, and he's always had the top centre forward, and they haven't got that. They haven't got a vocal point. They haven't got a ball to play out, and you know, they tried it with Lukaku. And listen, at the end of the day, Lukaku's a little bit messy, but he does win your games. He does score your goals. They've got nothing at the moment, and the quicker they get it, it'll be the better for them.
Yeah, and that's one thing that United used to do as well. They used to buy the best in the league. You're the best. come to me. You're the best. And that's kind of what they did with Lukaku. Lukaku was the best in the league, along with Kane. But Kane was unattainable at that point. So you've got another one who's attainable. But I think if Man United pushed for it, they could get a Harry Kane. That look, it's Man United. This is a point when he's thinking about leaving. You don't want to catch him on the other side when they start winning trophies, because that's when he will think, okay, I'll stay here. But right now, it's probably the one point you could probably get a Harry Kane at Man United.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's someone for me that they need.
Yeah. Well, there's one player that Man United are meant to be in advanced talks with now is Watford's Ismaila Sarr. Good player, but is he the player that Man United need right now? Do you reckon he'd do the business?
I think again, it's just another panic one. You know, it looks like the Sancho deal's obviously fallen through. So again, for me, it's Man United at their best at the moment, and that I think they're becoming a laughing stock. I really do. You know, it's Man United at their best, and you know, again, it's someone that, you know, like the boy they got from China, Igalo. Just another panic one is to try and strengthen the squad. But we're talking Man United here, and this is no disrespect to someone like Spurs. This is the kind of transfer I'd expect Tottenham to do. You know, it's Man United. It's the biggest club in the world, and at the moment they're nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
It's like what Dortmund said when they said that they were was it embarrassed, or they laughed basically at Man United's negotiating for Sancho.
Yeah.
They felt embarrassed for them.
Sorry, mate, go on.
It was almost as if they were playing games. Like, everyone knew that you had to pay the money for Sancho if you wanted him, but it was like this narration where it was like, no, we're going to pay, no, we're not. It was just pointless, and we know the whole time that Dortmund were only going to take the money if you wanted him, and that was it. Go on, Steve, what you saying?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. They're just overspending for me.
Yeah,
it's what surprises me about Manchester United, and I think it surprises every fan, not just Manchester United's fan, is that it's taken this long and they've still not got there, and they still ain't got it right since Ferguson's left. I mean, when Ferguson left, Moyes came in, and then with Moyes it was Van Gaal, and then it was Mourinho, and now it's Solskjaer. For a Man United fan, it must be really frustrating to have all these different managers and think, right, this is the time we're going to get it right, and it's still not there. You know,
it's a strange one as well, because everyone you mentioned, I thought Van Gaal was a terrible appointment. I thought that Mourinho again is one of them. I've lost him there.
No, we got you.
You got me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you. No, I was just saying that I think with the Man United appointments, I think every one of them as well as a case to be a poor appointment. Van Gaal was obviously at the back end of his career and not what you expected. I think Mourinho, the one thing Mourinho, he'll always get results and guarantee you a trophy, but he does get bored after 2 years. And with Solskjaer, for me, was just a very, very easy option for Man United at the time. So, you know, I think they have to go and get someone, trust the process of someone like Pochettino. They know is proven at the level, and that for me could be the difference.
Yeah,
I think with Solskjaer, it was the fans basically that put Man United in an awkward situation, because it were like so many games in a row, beating Paris Saint-Germain when everyone thought you were going to get thrashed out. Everyone was on that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ride, and all the players were fighting for him. Even Pogba coming out and saying, "I'm playing the best football. I don't want to leave. I want to stay." And then he signs a new contract, 3 years, as the manager, and it was just not interested there.
You've upset him, sir.
Yeah, I am.
Well done. You've wound up our guests. I'm joking. Well, we was near enough to cutting off anyway, but we will get Lee back to say goodbye. Definitely have to get him on the Man United show, I think, as well.
Yeah, it'd be good to ask him what he thinks about what's going on at Arsenal, especially where his dad's Lee Allinson. So that would be interesting. I'm sure his family is all going mad around at the moment, just like we are.
Yes. Okay, is he still there? No, he's gone. He's gone. Well, if we don't get back, Lee, thank you very much for coming on, Lee. It's been a pleasure. At 4 o'clock, we do have Simon Edwards from Colombia giving us the lowdown on what's happening in South American football with regards to transfers. We're going to have a little quick update, a quick look around what's going on with transfer news, and we can give you all a little update. And yeah, and then after that at 4:30, we've got Steve Castle, who's going to give us a little, again, an update on any transfers going down in the Football League. Thank you for joining us today. We are the Transfer Exchange Show. It's the Transfer Deadline Day live. We've got Steve K, Simon Powell, and Kieran Stewart, your host. Boop, boop, boop. That was too high.